And I am back after a few weeks of not recording crap and being lazy. Actually, I did record a couple things. We'll get into that later. But it's been absolutely beautiful these past few days, so why not celebrate by getting off my ass and recording a new episode for you all? I didn't exactly take a break. I just, stopped. I started worrying about what my audience thought, trying to tailor material to get more interest, trying to get more views, more follows, blah, blah, blah. The same shit everybody else is doing. I forgot that I'm using this platform to help me and others out there that are like me. Those of you that listen probably don't give a fuck about me tailoring it to your needs. It already met them. You're listening. Or maybe it didn't and they left. But that's not for me to worry about. So there I was, feeling about the same as before I started the podcast, and I mentioned to someone that I was boring myself. So others have to be bored, and the response I got was, they probably don't think so. That simple response flipped the reality switch in my head back to the on position. And I didn't start this podcast because of what you all would think. I started it because there are definitely others out there like me that may need to see that it's okay to feel a certain way. So, it's okay, right? Right. Anyway, I've got some new developments that happened over the last few weeks, so let's get into it.
Welcome to The Basic Vet, the podcast with a beard, tattoos, and no fucks. It's politically incorrect, it's abrasive, it's unapologetic, and it's probably fucking funny. I'm your host, Shannon Smith. Here you'll find out what it's like being a vet on a day-to-day basis, the unspoken struggles you don't hear about, and some honest stories from my time in our beloved Marine Corps. So grab a beer and throw out all those fucks you've had in your pocket, because where we're going,
you don't need any fucks.
Okay, first off, let's get the new stuff out of the way. I've been working on securing some interviews and collaborations lately because I have a couple very interesting people that are willing to come on the show after they hear more content from TBV. But right now, there are two in particular that I'm after. I mean, I'm not like collecting them like Pokemon or anything, but I really enjoy talking to people with interesting, true stories. The fact is, I actually have two interviews that are already recorded and edited. I'm just not quite happy with how I've edited them yet. With a guest, I care more about how they look than myself, so I want it to be perfect. Don't worry, boys, they're still getting released after I let you screen them first. Actually, one of them is the owner of Broken Jarhead, and he interviews me to sort of flip the script, and that one's going to be fun. The other one is with Kobe from Hugenbond Salon, and we went deep into some tricky conversations on that one. Unfortunately, I'll have to take some of the really juicy stuff out because I can't publish it legally. So, sorry, the world ain't ready for some things. Now, I still can't get either of those two to actually tell me what they did while they were in, because they were secret squirrels or some shit. All right, the last update is that Spy Optics has agreed to sponsor me again. Now, I'm picky about who I associate with, but I can't find a reason to dislike Spy as a company or their products. Their Happy Lenses truly do make things just look better. Now, I broke my last pair after a while. It was a while back when I broke it, but they had gone through a straight year of abuse. I wore them every single day, and I was impressed that they lasted that long through motorcycle races, being left in the car in the desert several times, being dropped a million times, going in the ocean, freezing in the snow. You know, the design and color never faded through all that, and I can't wait to throw on my next pair. And it's not just sunglasses. They sell apparel, tech gear, speakers and shit, headphones, prescription glasses. Just at least consider Spy for your next pair of sunglasses, and don't fucking lose them. That's the only way you'll end up having to replace them. Now that pretty much covers all the new stuff about the Basic Vet, because I really haven't been doing much besides just puttering around the house like an old guy waiting for his grass to get green. That's not a metaphor for anything. I'm sure there's an old guy out there just watching his grass right now. Basically what I've been doing. All right, so since I talk about things that I personally struggle with on here, I'm going to cover one of my biggest faults that I really can't stand about myself, and that's, no, it's not my narcissism. It's my anger. I've always had issues controlling my fucking rage, and it's made me look like an idiot way more than it has ever helped. It has helped, though. Don't get me wrong. I've been working on just, learning how to let shit go, telling myself it's not worth it. Get back in the car and drive home because there's like 100 people watching right now. You ever had that? I think some of us have here. Think road rage. See? You've had it. Mine is incessant, though. Living in Pennsylvania does not help at all. PA just hit number 40 on the best places to live in the U.S. that means it's on the top 10 worst states to live in the U.S. And I completely understand why. The local government here is rife with corruption. The job opportunities are slim, and unless you're a white-collar worker, you aren't making much in Harrisburg unless you're working your ass to death. And that breeds civil unrest and ultimately more crime. Now, Harrisburg has a population of merely 50,000 people. You could fit all of Harrisburg into the big house at University of Michigan, which is their football stadium, twice. Fucking twice! The traffic congestion here is absolutely unnecessary. And you would think that with all the congestion that we'd have at least 3 times that population here. Why is that? Well, it's because they built the roads to handle 300 people on horses and buggies, and it hasn't evolved much from there. The traffic signals and intersections make you want to give up on life, period. Because they still don't use automated signals in a lot of places here. So the lights rely on human programming. And people here are fucking stupid. Now, before I went off on just how stupid the general population here is, I had to take stock of the population in other states that I've lived. Now, one of the things that people born and raised here respond with after I bash this place is how amazing the education system is. False. I'm looking, and it ain't teaching people what it needs to. I mean, the lottery here goes to helping seniors. The proceeds from the lottery helps old people out. Good on you. Now, in Michigan, where I was born and raised, the lotto proceeds go to education. Right? I mean, what's the bigger lie, They don't really go. At least Michigan is trying to fake it by saying, yeah, our lottery goes to education. I'm not saying they have a superior education system because I came out of it. But the other places I lived, they didn't give a shit about the lottery because people weren't looking for an easy way out of the fucking place. Here's something to consider. If you live in a state where they advertise the lottery everywhere you look, chances are you live in a shitty state. Those are facts. Now, I absolutely hate this place, and it's no secret to anyone that knows me. And again, I grew up in Michigan, all right? So you've probably heard a bunch of negative stuff about Michigan. Well, that's where I grew up. Now, I can hear it now. You just leave then. Well, I am. We just bought our house here, and we're already planning to remodel and sell it to get the fuck out of here. So I got a plan. I'm just going to talk shit about this place until I forget about it and leave it behind. I'll visit, just like I visit the Mitten, but I am never moving back. Anyway, this ties into my anger issues and exacerbates them. So that's a more important reason that I'm leaving this miserably failed archive of U.S. history in the next 5 years. It's not just me. The wife despises this place too. It has so much potential. It really does. But no one in power gives a single fuck about anything but making more money. Taxes are the same as California here, but they can't seem to find the money half the time. What's worse is that no one's feet are held to the flames like old Kwame Kilpatrick from Detroit. That guy would do well here. So, Kwame, if you're out of prison, I got a great city for you to ruin. After I leave, that is. Harrisburg. And this time you can steal from the Capitol. If you're wondering how corrupt this place is, look into the case of Bud Dwyer. B-U-D-D is how you spell it. Bud Dwyer. It hasn't changed since that happened. Go and look it up. I'm serious. Pause this thing and go look up the case of Bud Dwyer if you don't know about it. I could tell you the whole thing, but then I'm just regurgitating the information. It's more fun to learn it yourself. And chances are you've already heard about the Bud Dwyer case but didn't know it. All right, so let me help you out a little. Bud was the treasurer here in 1987. So I was like 4. Now, he shot himself at a press conference because he was calling out the governor at the time for misappropriating the state's funds. And it culminated in the governor ultimately ruining his life and trying to take him down. And, during the press conference where he was announcing, that it was all over, blah, 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 he was getting fired or resigning, whatever, it was a snow day. And this was live TV. So a ton of kids watched a man blow his brains out. And then much later, a band named Filter made the song Hey Man, Nice Shot, in case you're unaware. That means you probably have heard that song at least once on the radio. You just didn't realize it. Now, like I said, this state, it hasn't gotten much better since then. We just don't have a Bud Dwyer anymore because, well, who would fucking step up to do that and be the guy that says, stop it, you're fucking stealing? After working with this state and state employees personally here and seeing their unwavering stupidity, I completely understand. It's a shame none of those people I had the displeasure of working with will hear this podcast. But if they do, you aren't smart enough for your job. Now, since I'll never be able to make an influence strong enough to initiate a real change, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because at the Basic Vet, we're about solving problems. And sometimes there isn't a solution, so you just gotta leave it behind you. People that are unable to see when their effort is truly fruitless and hang on way too long, that's a sad thing to see too. Unfortunately, this place just isn't at all progressive, so they can't see past their noses. Maybe in 20 years, they'll figure out what the fuck a grid system is, and I can at least clap for them. And probably say something like, yay, you got off the short bus, congratulations. Honestly, I don't give a shit if that day ever comes, because I'm already over this place. However, there is a business out there that didn't take 20 fucking years to make me clap for them, and that's Broken Jarhead. Now Broken Jarhead is into card games. Honorable Discharge is a vulgar card game that over-dramatizes derogatory military stereotypes. We all love doing that shit. And for $30, you can go to brokenjarhead.com and click the link to get yourself a copy of it along with a t-shirt. He also has the Broken Jarhead group on Facebook if you're in Zuckerberg's kingdom. Now, Shane likes to say I'm like BJH's hype man, but I just can't find a reason not to support the brand, so keep it up, dude. His dedication to the brand and quality is something that we definitely need more of. And if you didn't know, everything he sells is now made in the US. I guess he may have had an issue with a former supplier that was outsourcing their shit to China, so he decided to shut all that shit down and close the fences on his production to nowhere but the United States. So if it's not made in the US, it ain't Broken Jarhead. You might still be wondering, hey, there's weed in the title of this, and he still hasn't talked about how he's solving his anger issues right now. So I guess we kind of need to get into that. I got to talk about one of the best solutions that I have for when I'm getting irrationally angry. And yeah, it's weed. I smoke weed almost daily. Now, I don't mean like, hey. No, I mean I use it just to calm my ass down when I need to. Unfortunately, my biggest issue is road rage, so I'll have to find something else for that one. You see, weed is legal in PA medicinally, as it is in almost every state except maybe 8. It's taxed heavily if you're a producer or a seller, and the card is like $250 for a consumer, which is really expensive. I think I paid $50 in Cali, and it took like 10 minutes. It's worth it, though, so it doesn't matter to me. I just paid the money. Now, I'll keep the point about the devil's lettuce short here, and maybe later on I'll do a whole episode on it, since it's a common topic these days, and a lot of vets are using it with positive results. See, a lot of people that met me, especially professionally, still don't know I smoke. I never did it before work. I never did it at work, while I drove, or in situations where I have to be 100% on my game because, like it or not, it's a mind-altering substance. Not exactly the same as alcohol, but when you get into smoking concentrates, well, then you're getting to the borderline. See, there's a distillation process there. Surprise. Now, the benefit to concentrates is that they don't smell up your clothes or the surrounding area, really. You can do it discreetly, and it really doesn't take very much to reach the desired effect. And desired effect is a whole new topic because it's not like back in the day where you heard Purple Haze and got excited about the name and that was it. Now it's been heavily engineered in different ways. I didn't know anything about sativa versus indica or that there are a million different hybrids out there, back in early 2000s. And these strains, they've all been studied as to their effects in different body physiologies. Now, I'm a heavy sativa guy because that's usually more energizing and a clear feeling. Whereas indica is what I turn to when I need to calm down in a hurry. Now, the problem I have with indica is that it makes me want to go to sleep. So it's not great for the middle of the day, if I happen to get all angry and just need to calm down. But it doesn't hurt me to take a fucking nap and just forget about it. That helps too. Now, before I started to really specifically use medicinal marijuana to fix me in a way, I went through all the pills from the VA, and I really gave it an honest shot. After the 4th medication change, I stopped, and I focused on other ways to fix my head. The stigma behind weed, it isn't even relevant anymore. The stigma behind the habitual overindulger is what we need to focus on. Basically, you don't have to be a pothead about it all the time. You can just use it to help you out, because depending on who you are, it really can help you. You don't want to smoke? Well, then take a pill. Eat a sour gummy worm. Have a lollipop. Have the old brownie. There's so many ways that you can consume now and get like a very specific dose. So I really don't see a negative for myself. The problem is if you've got a job where you can't smoke and you're getting tested all the time randomly, well, you've got to make some decisions at that point, don't you? Doesn't do you any good to get all fucking angry that your employer likes to randomly drug test you and you don't think that you should be because it's legal. Well, it ain't. It's not federal legal, and companies still have regulations and guidelines that they have to worry about. It'll change eventually, not right now. Just deal with it. Put your head down and do the right thing. At this time, we have a bunch of movers and shakers out there that are getting topics that were previously just not even considered for discussion, actually put on the table for discussion in places they need to be, like in the local governments, and they're discussing it in the federal government now too, so it's only a matter of time. And then we have to see if the VA can actually get on board with it. That'll be interesting to see. I can't wait. And if you're a vet that smokes too, I bet you can't wait either, huh? Because unlike alcohol, all you get is super fucking high if you smoke too much weed. With alcohol, you get super fucking dead if you drink too much. So I think I will stick with the alternative and just be more responsible. Yeah. That pretty much does it for today. There's not much more I want to talk about. I just needed to get something put up on Spotify so you guys know I didn't fucking disappear on you. I hope I didn't disappoint anyone by not releasing an episode for a while. If I did, I'll do better. If you didn't give a shit anyway and you're still here for the episodes, I'll still do better. Now, since I've never met anyone that could listen to me talk for an hour without falling asleep or walking off, I'm going to keep my solo episodes short. And I'm also working on shortening the intro and outro so that it's less invasive, especially if you're a new listener and you're going through the old stuff. At about 20 minutes an episode, if you're listening through the catalog, that would be annoying. Besides, I skip through intros anyway after a certain point. Now, to those of you that submitted episode ideas to me, they are not lost. I save all those notes, so it will come up. And please, if you haven't yet, go check out The Basic Vet on Instagram, on Facebook, and throw me a like or a follow or whatever you kids do these days. See, that helps me keep hitting the record button because at that point, you can comment with suggestions and shit. Oh, and you can also click the follow button on whatever platform that you're listening on right now. But let's be real, we all know it's Spotify. So until next time, my basic friends, go enjoy the weather today. And enjoy it this weekend, as long as you aren't getting fucked by Mother Nature. If you are, stay inside and listen to all my episodes again. Because just like you, I fucking hate snow.
To everyone that listened to this podcast, thank you. Thank you for taking that time out of your day to listen to me bitch, babble, and complain. I really appreciate it. But all of my active duty friends out there, I want to say thank you for signing on that dotted line so that I can continue to enjoy my freedom and be a lazy fucker that just records his voice into a microphone all day and put it on the internet. And to those of you that say, just let it go, I say, fuck you. I'm never letting go of my commitment to excellence. And don't you let it go either. I'm out.